art is just not for the elite, it's for everybody. It's the legacy of humankind. And that is the message that I want to convey through my practice. Art will really become art when it comes closer to the man on the street in its real context. It was just too good a project to be imagined, and I jumped straight into it. The artists were essentially working artists. Having been in the art field for the last 15 years, I work with several artists across all seniority levels. And we wanted to get artists who are regularly working, who are working artists, and who have evolved as artists over the last so many years of the Indian art scene. So I imagined that if the Indian art scene is represented by a wall, so any artist who had his personal statement and would fit like a brick in the wall would be a great artist to work with on this project. But in essence, I was looking for the spirit in response of the artist when I told them about this small canvas project, and their reaction, the spirit in which they responded, was very important for me to take them on as a participating artist on this project. Traditional art is as much a part of the Indian art scene as modern art later and now contemporary art. But there's a very deep connection between the two, because the earliest origins of modern art were actually found in traditional art. If you see the collection, you will find that just one or two works have been done in the traditional miniature style. But if you see the rest of the collection, you will find that a lot of backdrop, a lot of embellishments, a lot of styling draws its roots from the traditional art of India. Image of uniqueness, image of diversity, image of a contemporary India, image of a colorful India, and image of a vibrant India. And it conveys the views of a diaspora that is really growing very fast and evolving as a people. Indian artists are very, very aware of Western art. Most Indian artists have at some point or the other during their curriculum, when they're educated as an artist, have studied about Western art. So their exposure to Western art is quite rich. And I have, in my 15 years or so of having been in the art space commercially, seen many, many exhibitions where many artists, some of them very senior artists, have done experimental exhibitions and experimental work enveloping the work of the masters like Picasso and Van Gogh. But like I said, those were purely experimental works, but the results were very, very wonderful. I wanted to unabashedly borrow an adjective from the government of India. Their tourism department has this fabulous campaign which they call Incredible India. And I think that encapsulates the spirit of this whole collection beautifully. But for the demands of sounding original, I would give it one more word, one more adjective, which is mesmerizing. Because as the viewer sees this collection of the diverse country that India is, it will surely mesmerize the viewer and cast a spell over the viewer. So there is this artist who does very, very fine pencil work. At the time that I visited him in his studio, he was working on the largest painting of his life, which was, I think, some 20 feet wide. And here I presented him with a format just 4 inches by 5 inches. And he commented that what a wonderful thing this is. At the same time in my life, I will be doing my biggest work of art and my smallest work of art. Luciano is, I found in the short interaction I had with him, a man of great taste, and quite rightly so, because he has built an empire which is based on the nuances of creativity and design. And therefore, he has a very clear-cut, a very distinct taste that reflects in his art also, in his taste for art also. He spent a lot of time with us. I saw that he took a personal and a very keen interest in several artists who are my own favorites and who I think have a very significant contribution to the Indian art scene. So I would say that it's kind of a karmic connection. Luciano was at that meeting friendly, open, enthusiastic, and very expressive in his own manner. One of the artists from Nepal presented him with a wooden Ganesha mask, a beautiful wooden Ganesha mask. I think he was one of the participating artists from Nepal, and immediately Luciano received it and converted it into a photo opportunity by holding the mask to his face and posing for everybody around happily while pictures were being clicked all around. When I went to this really senior artist, one of the very senior artists of our country, and asked him, requested him to give us a piccolini for this beautiful India project, I really didn't know which way his response would be, but I was carrying the previously published books, and he went through the books very carefully. He welcomed me, and he saw the immense effort that had gone into publishing the previous books on Latin America and Russia and China. And in an instant, he said, definitely I will give you a piccolini for this, a small work for this book. To which I responded with total delight. I said, sir, thank you very much. You have honored us. And to my surprise, he replies back saying, no, you have honored me, because for asking me to be a part of such a historical project. So he says to me that whoever thought of this project has got a great vision, because art is all about history and to some extent about documentation. And what Mr. Benetton is actually doing is that he is documenting the history of Indian art. And to me, that summed up what was really unique about this project, which attracted everybody to become a part of it very, very readily. I travel the length and breadth of the country, to meet with a lot of artists. I work with a lot of artists, and I knew it was getting a small work from them was just a phone call away. I had to just call them and tell them that they were going to be a part of this international fabulous project, and they would readily do the work and send it to me. But I wanted them to share the ethos, the delight of this whole project. So I carried the books with me. I traveled to the different zones of the country, met with them, showed them the books, and each of them took several minutes, sometimes hours, to go through each and every plate and really get excited about the little work that they were going to create for Imago Mundi. You have to view it really as a very significant teaser. There's much more to see beyond these 200 works, which completely encapsulate the spirit of the Indian art scene of the present day. But if you really want to wish to go further, there's lots more to see, lots more artists coming your way, and I strongly recommend that you should visit our beautiful country and get to see much more of contemporary art, traditional art, and all that there is to offer from our end.